you obviously are at Ohio State, man. And you're dominant, man. 3 years there. You're a 2-time Big Ten, all Big Ten, and you're All American during that process.
Yeah.
It's time to make that decision to go pro. Take us through it, man, and ultimately your NFL draft story. Most of us think we going early and we go later. All right, a lot of us story. All right, but did you happen to think you were gonna go earlier than 15th overall, man? Yeah.
So like, so what's crazy is I had like 144 tackles or 150 tackles in my second year. So I was like, man, like I had a really good season.
Say, yo, my second year I did that.
Yeah, I was like, man, I had a really good season. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, if I have anything close to a season like this again, I'm leaving. I was like,
y'all already having them talks. That's big, bro. Oh man.
I was like, if my season, I don't care what nobody said. If my season anything close to this next year, I'm leaving. And then, but I told him, I was like, but obviously you got to put your draft grade in. I was like, but I was like, my draft grade is third. If it say I'm gonna go third or higher, like first or whatever, then I'm leaving. Yeah. But like if it say third or lower, then I'm like, I'm gonna stay another year. So I had my whole season. Things went well. Went All American, and I put in my draft grade, and before we went to the bowl game, and my draft grade came back and said it said the latest I'll go is second round.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
it's over.
Yeah, so it said the latest I'll go is second round. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, like, we had this conversation before. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's kind of funny is I told my dad, and I was talking to one of the guys at Ohio State, and this was when I first got to Ohio State. This dude named Orion Johnson. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was one of the guys that kind of looked out for me. Yeah. And when I first got there, he was like, man, you a dog, bro. He was like, man, if you just lock in for 1,000 days, bro, you might
really, you can do something special.
You really can do something special. Yeah. And I was like, I bet I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna lock in for 1,000 days. 1,000 days is 3 years.
I already know what you're doing. I already know.
So I was
know what that is.
So I locked in for 1,000 days, bro. And I was like, man, I'm gonna give everything I got. And I did. And I told my dad, like, yeah, man, we had this conversation. He said no later than the second round. I was like, man, like, I felt like I did everything I need to do here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, obviously I still want to get a degree. Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to win that championship. We ended up going 24-0 and losing the Big Ten championship. But like, and they, then they win that championship next year, which is crazy, my senior year. But it's, I'm happy for them.
24 games on a road, bro. Just think like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And then, so we end up, and then now, like, we would have did that, we would have still been able to go to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But back then, they didn't have that. Yeah. So we end up, so when I end up telling my dad, I was like, man, I'm going to be honest, Coach, me and Dad, I'm about to tell Coach Meyer now. Like, I'm about to tell him before the bowl game. Because I'm like, I'm going to play in the bowl game.
Yeah, but I already know what I'm on.
I already know what I'm on. Like, I'm not changing my mind. Yeah. Like, it ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. Like, I am not. Like, and then a lot of y'all was like, no, man, you and Coach Meyer are so close, man. You probably going to stay another year. I was like, man, I love Coach Meyer. I love Ohio State. But I think this is the best decision for me. Yeah. So my dad was like, I don't think you should tell him. I'm telling him. So I ended up, we was at bowl practice one day. He didn't make me practice like that time. But then I ended up going to him middle of practice. We was in practice. Like, but it was just like, bowl practices are more chill. So it was just like in practice. He had the young guys like practicing. It was more chill. And he was just talking to me. He had his arm around me. He was like, man, how you doing? And I'm feeling good. And I was like, hey, Coach, I just want to keep it real with you. Like, I love you. I love this school. But I'm just letting you know, after this draft, I got my draft grade back. I'm leaving. Yeah. And then he was like, man, we can have this conversation, after the game. And, and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. So after the game, he said, hey, Ryan, he's like, I'm going out of town. I got a recruiting trip. Then I'll be back on we played on a Saturday or something. Mm-hmm. We played on January 1st. It was the Orange Bowl or something like that. And he's like, I'll be back on the 4th. I was like, hey, Coach. Because the game was at the Orange Bowl. Baby. I was like, the game was at the Orange Bowl. I was like, Coach, all my stuff is already down here.
Don't worry about me, Coach.
I'm like, Coach, I'm not coming back with you.
Say, Coach, you said you recruit this weekend. You might want to go get you a linebacker, Coach. You might want to go find you one of them dudes. All right, man.
They had one already. They had Darren Lee.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and but it was just. I told him like, hey, coach, man, I love it, but I already got all my stuff down here.
Yeah.
I'm not even coming on the plane with y'all. Go back.
Man.
Because like you got to think about it. My house where I grew up was 20 minutes from the stadium.
Okay, so
it was just like
you
we
home.
literally played a game where I'm home at.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, and I'm already signed up to go to IMG. Like I already had my training.
So you got everything set up.
Yeah.
So you trained in Florida as well, the IMG.
I trained at Bradenton.
Okay. Yeah. So you right.
Yeah. So
I'm not going back to Ohio State tonight.
Yeah.
Bro.
I was like, I'm gonna come and get my
Me,
stuff. Like, I get, like my car.
Yeah.
But all my other stuff is down here. So and that's kind of how things went.
No, I could dig that, man.